Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about enhancing web security with reCAPTCHA. So let's start. I am Mayra from Lima, Peru, and I learned about Ruby almost 4 years ago. I love cats, and also at the moment I only have one. I am often called to be a cat sitter for others. So first, a disclaimer, I'm not a security expert by any shape or form, but I got several chances to implement reCAPTCHA and work, included the Woman No Binary project, and I find it fascinating. So this is what we're going to talk about today. First, we define the importance of security on the web. Then we talk about reCAPTCHA as a tool to solve some part of the problem. And then at the end, we are going to see how it is implemented within Woman No Binary REV. Let's start with web security. So when we incorporate an input tag into our website, we immediately assume responsibility for the data we are about to collect. Now we know how the internet is constantly under attacks from several malicious entities, including bots, spammers, cyber criminals. So when web security isn't up to par, it can lead to some serious problems. One of the big issues is data breaches, where sensitive info can end up in the wrong hands. This can cause financial problems, hurt a company's reputation, and make customers upset. From the user's perspective, they want their personal info to stay private and secure. If a website doesn't take security seriously, it can make users feel like they can't trust the site. For businesses, the consequences can be even more direct. Security breaches can mean losing money, getting into legal troubles, and can hurt the company's reputations. From the user's perspective, they want their personal info to stay private and secure. In some industries, there are rules about keeping data safe, and if a company doesn't follow them, they could get into trouble within the law. So good web security isn't just a good idea, it's a must to avoid this kind of issues. So next, let's talk about something called the OWASP Top 10 list. It's like a friendly guide for software creators and web developers, which points out the most important safety issues when building web applications. Think of it as a list that most people in the web development world agree on, and it helps us to know what problem to be cautious about. In this short talk, I mentioned the first one, which is now has the A01 broken access control, and it's like the bouncer at a club. It makes sure that only the right people get in. So in the context of your web application, it means that users should only be able to do what they are supposed to do. For example, your credit card info should only be accessible by you as long as you prove you are the rightful owner, and no one else should get in there. If you want to learn more about the others' concerns, you can check out the OWASP Foundation website. Time to talk about CAPTCHA and reCAPTCHA. CAPTCHA, a contrived acronym, is a type of challenge response test used in computing to determine whether the user is human in order to deter bot attacks and spam. It was first invented in 1997. reCAPTCHA is the most popular CAPTCHA service. reCAPTCHA was released in 2007, and it was acquired by Google in September 2009 for use in Google Books in order to digitize books. According to Wikipedia, the original version asked users to decipher hard-to-read text or match images. Version 2 also asked users to decipher text or match images if the analysis of cookies and canvas rendering suggested the page was being downloaded automatically. Since version 3, reCAPTCHA never interrupts users and is intended to run automatically when users load pages or click buttons. In this picture taken from the Google reCAPTCHA Enterprise webpage shows us that in 2020, you are able to integrate Enterprise with your iOS and Android apps. When you visit a website protected by reCAPTCHA version 2, you'll see a little checkbox to confirm you are not a robot. This checkbox triggers some behind-the-scenes magic. It checks your browser and sends some information back to the server. This helps the website make sure you are a real person, not a bot. When you click that checkbox, it talks to Google, sending them a few things. First, it sends where you came from, the referrer, a special code that the website got when it signed up for the reCAPTCHA, like the website's key, a cookie from google.com, and some info about your browser checks, organized in a way that makes it safe. The Google's fancy computer system looks at all these and decided what kind of puzzles to give you. The puzzles can be different for each person. If you got a history of causing troubles or answering things wrong, you might get a thousand puzzles. Once you get the puzzles, you got 55 seconds to solve it. If you don't, you'd need to click the checkbox again for a new puzzle. But if you solve it, an invisible code reCAPTCHA token appears in the web page code. It's like a secret code that proves you're okay. If you pass the test and don't need to do a puzzle, the code becomes valid on Google sites. When you do whatever you came to do on the website, it sends that code and some other stuff to check with Google using the reCAPTCHA API. And Google says yes or no, and that's how the website knows if you are the real deal. reCAPTCHA version 3 is like a smarter, hands-free version of reCAPTCHA version 2, which we described before. When I was trying to find more images or how to try to display reCAPTCHA version 3, it was like there were no more information about it. So it's like a hidden, all what is related to this isn't here anymore, and only you have a sign that you can click and read about the terms of services that you use when you are using reCAPTCHA version 3. So just continue in reCAPTCHA version 2, you can check if an interaction on your website is real or not without bothering the user with any puzzle or checkboxes. It's like a behind-the-scenes detective that works using only JavaScript. As a result, there are typically fewer accessible issues associated with reCAPTCHA version 3. This is something that I like. Instead of giving you an "I'm not a robot" checkbox, reCAPTCHA version 3 provides a score. This score helps you decide what to do on your website. For example, if the score is low, you can ask for more proof from the user, like an extra password or email confirmation, or if the score is high, you can let them in without any hassle. It's all about making your site more secure and user-friendly. So in a nutshell, reCAPTCHA version 3 gives you a score for each interaction on your site without making users do anything extra. This score is based on what's happening on your site. So you can use it to take the right action to protect your websites from unwanted visitors. For web applications, reCAPTCHA is like a superhero, especially in terms of security. This is how it operates in accordance with the OWASP Top 10 in 2021, which is kind of the current web security guide. Fighting off annoying bots, reCAPTCHA employs technology to identify and stop bots that attempt to access your web applications. It works similar to a force field to deter automated attacks, like when a bad guy tries to guess password again and again and again. So proving you are a human, reCAPTCHA asks you to take a unit test to confirm that you are a human and not a robot. It's similar to asking you a personal question that only you humans are able to answer. So stopping data theft using injection attacks, some bad guys attempt to sneak in and take your private information. However, reCAPTCHA keeps the watch avoiding all these malicious bots, protecting your secrets. So gardening, malicious bots might attempt to compromise the code of your online application using cross-site scripting attacks. However, reCAPTCHA keeps an eye on these scammers and protect your data with that. So also, reCAPTCHA try to make your users happy, trying to accomplish through all what is related to the test, make it easy to solve, so your users can use logging in or using your web application is breeze. So for attempt to show some code, remember that all this is in our GitHub project, so it is public, so everybody can access. We'll be working with reCAPTCHA version 3, not the enterprise version, that is the latest one. We choose version 3 because it's a newer version. The version 2, which has been around for 11 years, has numerous online tutorials for implementation. However, some of these tutorials also teach how to create bots that can bypass reCAPTCHA version 2. So we are focusing on the more recent and secure reCAPTCHA version 3 for our implementation. For our implementation, we will go to the Google site, with the reCAPTCHA site. We're going to get our keys, and then we are going to return to our code to implement it in the Rails side and the React side. On our website, we made a switch from using a Google form to our custom-made registration process for the new members. So to make sure we don't accept data entering by annoying bots, we added a reCAPTCHA as a security feature. First, we enter to Google reCAPTCHA, the admin panel, and register our website. There, we are going to get our keys, the ones that we were mentioning before. First, the site key, which allows you to identify the project within Google. And also the secret key, which is the one that will be consumed by the reCAPTCHA API to give us a score. For the client side, we need to include this script in our, let's say, the React side. So reCAPTCHA version 3 gives us the documentation, gives you two options. The first one is automatically bind the challenge to a button. That is how exactly mentioned in the documentation. And this is when you configure to, when you click the button, that button is going to get all the information and it's going to trigger the execution to send to all the token thing. And the second one is called programmatically invoke the challenge. So here we need to include the reCAPTCHA inside what is the script that we are going to include in the page. So we decided to go the last one because we only have one action on the single page where we need the reCAPTCHA. But in the future, we might use the first option where the challenge shows up when users visit our whole website. In this way, we can collect all the info about users through Google Analytics and make their experience better. I know sometimes it can sound intrusive, but there are information about Google mentioning that the way that they use that data is not to sell it or share it. But who knows, you know? So in our project, we have 3 global variables, one to activate the reCAPTCHA, and the others 2 are the ones we get from the reCAPTCHA admin console. This allows us that if we don't have these values configured, such as in development, it will not impact the rest of the application. We can pass the reCAPTCHA site key value as a JavaScript variable within our web page view. This value is then used on the client side in React. When working in the React views, we collect the reCAPTCHA site key and employs it to dynamically load the script using the user effect hook. Unlike other scripts that we typically include in a part of the DOM, React doesn't allow us to load scripts that provide essential methods and objects in the same way. This is why we leverage the use effect hook to initiate the loading of the reCAPTCHA script within our React component. Once the user submits the form, we check the G token. If this is defined, which means that that's going to be configured. And if it is, we use the execute method that is here. The execute method that is here, and inside the reCAPTCHA function to create a special token. This is the token. This token is then sent along with all the information that we have here. We send it to the server side to be verified. Server side. So, okay, on the server side, our API will get the form data. In the controller, it checks if it is received the G token parameter. If it did, it goes to validate the reCAPTCHA and save or no the data. The validate reCAPTCHA method involves sending the token to the reCAPTCHA verification API, which then assigns it a score ranging from 0 to 1. A score of 0 means it's a positive and genuine interaction, while a score of 0 strongly suggests it might be a bot. Depending on this score, our system takes appropriate actions that fits the context of our website. If there's an issue within reCAPTCHA validation, our code sends a message to the front end indicating the problem. In the future, it might be a good idea to consider sending an email with more specific information. This will help us to investigate if there is a potential attack and take necessary actions to protect our website. So we covered a lot about web security and how reCAPTCHA can change the game for developers like us. We have discussed the significance of security web applications, and one key issue we face is broken access controls, as is highlighted in the OWASP Top 10. So by integrating reCAPTCHA in our project, we are not only protecting our system from bot exploits, but also addressing issues like broken access control. It validates that the users interacting with your application are humans, ensuring that sensitive areas remain secure. This reduces the risk of unauthorized access and safeguards users. In order to make the web a safer place together, I want to thank you for your time.